Hello, I'm recording this behind the scenes pretty quickly afterwards. So, Holding Out the Vampire is an idea that I'd had for quite a few years actually. I've had this idea for about 2 or 3 years, and essentially I did actually do a couple of initial drafts of it, like very vague outlines and plans, because originally it wasn't going to be just its own, sort of one-off thing. It was going to be a script for a Young Dracula audiobook, actually, or something along those lines that I was going to do. However, I decided in the end not to do that, and the audio quality of this one, and the editing that, this was all done on my phone, obviously during lockdown, since where I am at the minute, I don't have my laptop, so basically this was just something I was thinking of, and I thought, you know what, I can do this pretty much all here just on my phone, and the quality of it's the audio is good enough for what it is. So obviously the idea was, a sort of mental skull, the resisting, the change into a vampire, and how that can have sort of a almost a kind of psychological effect. I didn't want to go too much into it, and to be honest, it ended up being about double the length that I initially planned. I initially planned it to be 10-15 minutes long, but it ended up being double that, so oh well. Because I just thought, you know what, I should just go into more detail, because initially, in the initial drafts, it would just go to, the initial bite, and then you skip to a month later. And then I thought, to give it a bit more development, we'll have it in stages. Just, make it a bit better. And also, one thing that changed a lot, was the ending. I was always a little bit indecisive about the ending, because one of the original endings was that, the main character gets bitten, and that just continues to resist, for forever, and it's kind of just left like, oh, will they be able to, or won't they? But I decided I wasn't really satisfied with that, and I wanted, a more decisive conclusion on, right, this is what it all means, this is what's all happening. So the end of that, and the final line of it as well is something interesting there. Calling the prisoners monsters, and I think the way that I personally interpret that line myself is that monsters never think of themselves as monsters. They might say, "Oh yeah, I'm a monster," but they'll think, "I'm not as bad as the others," but they'll ignore the bad, the horrible things that they do, and I think that's in a way trying to justify it. So that's where that line sort of came from. And rather than just doing it in a pure sort of audiobook way, it was done, since it was only going to have two characters. I thought, well, can do two two voices, sort of. So I thought, you know what, I'll do it in first person mode, almost like an audio drama, but kind of a little bit in between, to be honest. And I didn't produce any music for this or use any for it, and that was just a conscious decision to do, because to be honest, I could have used music, but I did actually add a bit of music in there, some music from tracks I'd created for other projects like the Gone Through Doncaster podcast and other stuff I've done. However, I just thought the music, kind of like with Ghosts and Me, I decided that music didn't fit this one. It didn't fit this one, and I wanted the full sort of realism and emotion of it to come through. So I decided to not actually have any music at all in this one at all. And also, I never give the characters actual names either. I do leave them as very much a blank slate on who they are. And there is, the idea of you could always do sequels to this, but I don't know, this might be one of those things that I just kind of leave as an interesting, sort of little one-off thing rather than trying to do sequels or create a series out of it. Just do a nice little sort of one-off about it. To be honest, I'd kind of forgotten about this idea until I rewatched all of Young Dracula earlier this year, and that kind of brought the idea back, which is, where this eventually came out of. And also the image here that you're looking at is, for the title card, is actually a Facebook Messenger filter of me, a picture of me for ages ago, because initially I was just going to show the text, but then I remembered this image in Messenger. I thought, yeah, that kind of fits with the whole thing. Also, fun fact, when I was recording the second half of this, I felt, I felt something hard on my tongue, and I spat it out, and then I realised what that was. I've actually, during the recording, I managed to chip the inside of one of my front teeth. Yeah, I've no idea how that happened. I have literally no idea how I managed to do that. I really don't know. But yeah, I managed to do that, which is really fucking irritating. And you might notice that I did a bit of this in the second half of recording. I did go back and do it a couple of times over, but yeah, it's just really weird at the minute. I can't really go to the dentist about right now. So yeah, it's like a bloody irritants at the minute. But it was just one of those things, I thought I'd do something different than what I've normally done, but in the same sort of genre to it, and it's kind of like a sort of, I won't say test the waters, it's just kind of like just to do something, out of my, sort of in and out of my comfort zone a bit. To be honest, I think it probably could have been better if I gave it more development and gave it more time. Because it was more just a character. This is one I call a character study rather than an actual story, because to be honest, it doesn't have much plot at all to it. It's all just about, mainly the character interactions and that in this one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, then let me know why you didn't and how I could improve on this. And yeah, I'll have more to come in the future.